Hello, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today, playing some Simic Stompy in Historic Best of 3. Forgotten Realms gave us a few new toys, and well, I gotta jam them in this deck. Before I get into it and talk just a little bit about it, the usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe if you can. Thank you very much for doing that. And information about the deck list as well as timestamps are in the description as usual. So from the latest D&D set, we get these two sweet new cards. We are playing 4 copies of Werewolf Pack Leader, a 3/3 for 2, already a great stat line, and then it has a great ability. Pack Tactics says, whenever Werewolf Pack Leader attacks, if you attacked with creatures with power, a total power 6 or greater this combat, draw a card. You know, in this deck, for the most part, if you have a pack leader on the field and just one other creature, you're probably going to meet that 6 power requirement pretty easily. And, well, drawing extra cards is always good. Then it has an okay little ability here for 3 and a green. Turns the pack leader into a 5/3, non-human, but more importantly, it gains trample. Really good if you need to go over some 1/1 chump blockers. Next, playing 4 copies of the new enchantment class, Ranger class. 1 in a green, enters the battlefield, creates a 2/2 wolf token. Not bad. Then we level it up for another 1 in a green. It says whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on a attacking creature. Pretty good. It stacks, so if you have 2 or 3 Ranger classes on the field with level 2, well, we're going to be putting multiple +1/+1 counters on our attacking creatures, and that can get out of control real fast. And then, if you can get it up to level 3 for an additional 3 in a green, it says you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. This thing is going to give us tons of sustain, especially in those control matchups like Dimir control and Jeskai control. Really loving both of these cards. Both of them are certainly overperforming. Next, talk about the rest of the deck. We are playing Simic Stompy, so we got some big creatures in the deck. Playing 2 copies of Ronus the Indomitable. It's a 5/5 for 3. Can't attack or block unless you have a power 4 or greater creature on the field. But I think for the most part, you're going to be able to turn Ronus on. And then, more importantly, Ronus has a fantastic ability for 2 and a green. Give another creature +2/+0 and trample until the end of turn. That trample comes up quite a bit. Then 4 copies of Steelleaf Champion, 5/4 for 3. Can't be blocked by creatures of power 2 or less. Just a great big creature. Wonderful on turn 2. Great on turn 3 as well. Then we're playing 4 copies of Old Growth Troll. I absolutely love this card. It's a 4/4 with trample for 3. When it dies, it goes onto a forest. It ramps you a little bit, and we have the choice to sacrifice that forest to create a 4/4 token. Just everything about the Old Growth Troll is fantastic, and I always love drawing it. Then we're playing 1 copy of Yorvo. It's also a 4/4 for 3. Comes in with counters instead of a baseline of 4/4. And then every time another green creature enters the battlefield, it's going to get an additional +1/+1 counter. This thing can really get big really fast. And with a Ronus on the field giving it trample, well, you're going to get in a ton of damage with old Yorvo. Next, playing some more utility-based creatures, playing 4 Llanowar Elves. This is great on turn 1 because we can ramp into some of our really big turn 3 stuff on turn 2. Then 4 copies of Pelt Collector. This also on turn 1 is not too bad because we have a lot of bigger creatures to follow it up with. This thing can easily get up to +3/+3, and when it does get up to +3/+3, it also gains trample. Then we are playing 2 copies of the Kazandu Mammoth. I'm not a huge fan of the Kazandu Mammoth. It is a 3/3, and that 3 toughness is a little weak to me. However, I love the fact that it is also a land that comes in. Sometimes we need to put it out on the backside, and if you do put it out on the front side, hey, if you hit that landfall on the next turn, a 5/5 is nothing to sneeze at. Getting away from creatures, we have 1 copy of Primal Might. Just a little bit of fight. Also a pump spell if we need to push damage and the opponent is maybe tapped out. Next, 4 copies of Decisive Denial. The reason to go Simic. This thing is just insane. For a green and a blue, we have 2 choices. We can have a creature fight a creature we don't control, or we can counter a target non-creature spell unless the controller pays 3. This is really great against board wipes, spot removal, planeswalkers, anything like that. It stops ultimatums. I just absolutely love having Decisive Denial in my deck. The only problem is that that blue symbol. Our deck is playing a lot of creatures that require green, 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 and sometimes you're going to be forced to put out like the pathway on the green side instead of the blue side, and you might not be able to find your blue mana. Still, I think it's worth having it in the deck because it is just so powerful at protecting our big wide board. Then we are also playing 4 copies of Collected Company because we were playing a whole bunch of impactful 3-drops. I'm a little bit unsure about Collected Company in the current build of this deck because we are only playing 25 creatures, and the rule of thumb, I think, is you can't go below 22. 22 creatures in a Collected Company deck is like the minimum based on the math by Frank Karsten. 25 is not a whole lot more than 22, so I'm a little worried that I'm going to miss with Collected Company. Still, I want to try it out, see how it performs. It might take a little bit of readjusting in the deck, and finding that sweet spot, maybe going down to 3 collected companies, upping the creature count a little bit. We'll see. Next, I want to talk about how I made room for these 2 new cards. Originally, the deck was playing 4 copies of Barkhide Troll. It's also a 3/3 for 2, but I think the Pack Leader with that Pack Tactics ability is just a strictly better card, so it was kind of a no-brainer to cut 4 Trolls for 4 Leaders. Then, to fit in the Ranger class, I cut 2 Great Henges from the deck. Great Henge is a fantastic card, but it's 9 mana. Sometimes it gets very clunky if you can't get that perfect cost reduction, and if you have 2 of them stuck in your hand, things look real bad. The Ranger class is going to provide us with a lot of value at level 3, so I think overall the class is going to perform better. Then the deck was also playing 2 Primal Mights. I cut that down to 1. Playing 5 main board fight cards is probably going to be enough. And then I also put 2 additional Primal Mights in the sideboard just in case you need access to more fight. And then the deck was also playing 2 copies of Yorvo. Cut that down to 1. Yorvo is a great creature, but it is legendary, so hitting it on a collected company can be a little bit awkward. Anyways, going down to 1 I think is going to be good. Ranger class is also making a 2/2, making our creatures bigger, so more value from the Ranger class than any of these 3 cards, I think. Over in the sideboard, we have a couple of big green creatures to bring in. 2 Garruk's Harbingers, great against heavy black removal decks. 3 copies of Shifting Ceratops at 5/4 for 4. Can't be countered, protection from blue, and it can gain reach, trample, or haste. This thing gets out of control against blue-oriented decks. They just basically can't deal with it a lot of the time, and it's fantastic against the Phoenix deck as well because it gains reach, can very easily block Phoenixes, and then it also blocks the Sprite Dragon and the Stormwing Entity. And same situation with the Elder Gargaroth, 6/6 for 5, has reach and can block a lot of the cards, all the cards basically in the Phoenix deck. Sometimes the Sprite Dragon and the Stormwing Entity can get bigger than it. Still, gaining that 3 life or drawing a card can be a huge advantage in that matchup. And to round out the sideboard, playing those extra 2 copies of Primal Might, 2 copies of Wilt. Wilt is fantastic against like Embercleave, but more importantly, Shark Typhoon. Shark Typhoon is such a pain in my neck. If the opponent resolves that, it's just going to generate way too much value, and we can't compete with that. So having access to Wilt, I think, is very important. I might even go up to 3 copies of it. I'm not sure. And then 2 copies of Scavenging Ooze, Anti-Graveyard Hate, of course, and 2 copies of Heroic Intervention, just a little bit of anti-board wipe for our sideboard. So that is the Simic Stompy deck. It has been performing very well in testing so far, and I'm really excited to play more games with it. So jump into a few games now. See you over there. Alright, Simic Stompy in Historic Best of 3. Trying out some new cards that I know are going to perform well. Opponent gets to go first. Don't like that though. I'm greedy. I want to go first every single time. Alright, opening hand looks okay. A little land heavy, but that's alright. We can hopefully get out a Steel Leaf Champion on turn 3. Worst case scenario, we get the Pack Leader out on 2. Okay, I'd prefer 0 more lands, please. We are up against a Kahira deck, so you got to imagine it's going to be hard control. Always fun. Birth of Meletus. So just, yeah, strict Orzhov control. And they went first. That's not good. However, that Decisive Denial is very cool. I'm going to shock this out. I don't think my life total really matters. And I don't want to telegraph like a blue spell next turn. So I'm going to just put that out now and then hold up the Decisive Denial next turn. But, of course, they have Banishing Light. Oh, man, that sucks. Imagine, you know, us going first in this case. It would have been a very, very different story. This flood is unreal. It's a little bit surprised they blocked on the Llanowar Elf, but cool. If I can get a little bit more damage, they're really worried that I'm going to pump it? I guess so. So the deck wants me to have decisive denials. Unfortunately, they're not going to be good enough. That's the weirdest thing I think I've ever seen. I really wonder what this is about. Is this, are they going to cast like a From Beyond? No. Why did they shock in the Hollowed Fountain? Glad they let that go. They definitely have some kind of interaction. I wonder if they're slow rolling a board wipe. If that's the case, I mean, I think it's fine, but I'm telegraphing the second decisive denial, but I think that's okay. Well, at least I get to showcase the Ranger class and the Werewolf pack leader. That's what I'm here for. Opponent spinning their wheels over there. That's a lot of ops and brainstorms. They are only on 2 blue as well. That could be making things a little bit awkward for them. I can't imagine the deck plays that many basic planes, but... No way you're getting that. Some real questionable draws. Really? Okay, they're finally blocking the pack leader. They very generously gave me 6 damage previously, so... I think it's okay to level this up to 4. And we're drawing a land next turn. That's not great, but... Again, telegraphing the 3rd decisive denial. Oh my gosh. I bet the opponent's super tilted. Well, it worked out. Amazingly, that worked out. I cannot believe it. The opponent obviously had a little bit of trouble in the middle part of the game there, and decisive denial. That's why it's in the deck. So, Shifting Ceratops is probably coming in, and also Heroic Intervention. I can't imagine Primal Might is going to do very much in this matchup. What else am I taking out? I like the Llanowar Elves and the Pelt Collectors in this matchup, especially the Llanowar Elves. Pelt Collector I'm a little soft on, because to make this effective, I have to commit quite a few cards to the board, and I'm not sure how I feel about doing that. I love Old Growth Troll in this matchup. Steel Leaf Champion, a little lukewarm on that. I think I might cut there. And now I'm kind of leaning toward Old Yorvo. Actually, you know what? Maybe it's a Collected Company. Because I'm cutting so many creature spells right now from the deck. Going down to 21 hitables. Yeah, but Collected Company is really good. I think it's okay. We'll try. I ran into Dimir control a few times while testing. I hadn't run into Azorius control yet. Opening hand looks pretty solid. Good curve. Ronus is very annoying for the opponent to deal with, and that makes things a lot juicier. I wonder if they're playing Field of Ruin. Well, that makes things okay for me. So is it Ronus? I think it's Ronus. If they have a counterspell for it, Aether Gust. Okay, we'll put them on top. I think I'd rather have Ronus countered than the Old Growth Troll. I think the Old Growth Troll is going to be more valuable just because it's really good against Doom Scar. So now I could go out with the Ranger class and hold up the Decisive Denial, but I think it's probably okay to go Ronus and not worry about it, because I'm kind of thinking like Teferi 5, but they're not going to have the mana for it this turn, so next turn I can go out Old Growth Troll and Decisive Denial. Haha, be careful when you're tapping your mana, because the game doesn't like doing damage to you. So they would have tapped both my blue sources there. Unbelievable. Lets it resolve. Interesting. Well, we're swinging with Ronus. If we get hit by a Settle the Wreckage, that's going to suck. But it's just Ronus. Okay, bang bang. What do you have, opponent? A Shark Typhoon for 2. Okay. Can't do much about that. There's the Doomscar, I got to imagine. Sorry, that was a Facebook notification. Hopefully I don't get too many more. So if you're hearing that, it's not your Facebook that's going off, it's mine. I could go out with the Ranger class, pump it up, hold up, Decisive Denial. I think that's probably going to be fine. Again, telegraphing that I have the Decisive Denial, but I think I value tapping the Llanowar Elf more. I'm going to put this on Ronus, because Ronus is going to stick around, so that's going to be a problem. Wow. So I have a decision to make. That was my Facebook again, sorry. I'm going to go close that browser in a second. I think I'm going to let them take the Ronus. I'm more afraid of a board wipe here. Okay. Sorry for those little dings. So we get their Shark, a couple damage in, hold up the Denial. It sucks, but I think I have to choose a better spot to deploy this. Like now. Oh, they might have the follow-up. Good on ya, opponent. Good on ya. Well, we don't lose everything. It's not as bad as it could have been, because we get the Old Growth Troll there. And I think I may as well just go to the board. They're kind of short on cards. If this is a Doomscar, I'm going to be a little bit sad. But do I want to upgrade the Ranger class, or do I want to put out the 4/4? I think I want to put out the 4/4. Brainstorm's pretty good for them. Hopefully they got to put a couple dead cards on the top of their library. I love this new pet, by the way. How great is he? Banishing Light on probably the enchantment, right? Yep. Well, glad I didn't sink any mana into it. So now I think the best thing to find is probably a Decisive Denial or Collected Company. Okay, grow the boys. Shifting Ceratops is really good. I'm not going to commit it to the board yet, though. That'll be a good follow-up, especially if I can find a 5th land. Get in for 5 damage out of nowhere. Could be good. I'm kind of expecting a board wipe here. Yeah. So it's a little risky, but I think I have to put it out. Hopefully they don't have another Banishing Light or another board wipe. That's all I'm hoping for. Shark Typhoon's bad, but it can't stop my Ceratops. And that is real bad, too. Llanowar Elves, come on. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out the Llanowar Elf because I want to be able to use the Oasis next turn. I could use it anyways, right? Yeah. I'll put one elf out. And if they don't have anything here, Kahira stops my shifting Ceratops, though. Okay. Coco. Coco is great. I wonder if do I swing with both and let them chump block or let them kill the Llanowar Elf? Because I think they gotta jump in front of the shifting Ceratops, right? No, I'm gonna hold back the Llanowar Elf because I wanna, if they block here, I wanna give a trample and then have 4 mana up for the Collected Company. Okay. I like the position I'm in, but things can go real south real quickly against a deck like the opponent's. Teferi's not that bad. Can't do anything about the shifting Ceratops. They have 2 mana open, potentially 3. I don't think they played a land. What do you got, opponent? Yeah, that feels good. Beating Azorius hard control with the Stompy deck. That's what it's all about. Next one. All right, big win to start the video off. Love beating control, especially with Stompy. Decisive Denial. Oh gosh, what a card that is. But hopefully the luck and the fortune continues my way. This is not what I expect to see. It's weird, right? Do I keep this or not? What's the opponent on? The opponent is on Yorion, so they're probably going to have plenty of removal. The Pelt Collectors can be good, but they're not going to get bigger than 2/2 right now with what I have in hand. If I have the Llanowar Elves on the field, though, I can get up to level 3 on the Ranger class if things go well. I'm gonna chance it. I still don't know if I'm playing Llanowar Elf or Pelt Collector out first, but we'll see. Decisive Denial, not terrible. So if I go out with the Llanowar Elf, then next turn I can go Pelt Collector Ranger. That's probably better. I could also just go Pelt Collector, leave up Decisive Denial, but I don't think they're going to have anything early for me to counter. Yeah, okay. Kind of thinking like Binding the Old Gods on turn 4 is probably coming. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not a land, though. Really wish it were a land. So I think it's fine to go wide. Really, really need the land next turn. Without that, I'm going to be a sad panda. If I do get a land, I think I might just opt to increase the Ranger class to level 2 and hold up the Decisive Denial. It's not a land. So now I have to make a choice. Do I commit to the board? My first thought was yes, absolutely, because if the Old Growth Troll dies, I can put it on a forest. Unfortunately, the Old Growth Troll has to enchant a forest, and it just so happens to work out that I don't have a forest. Thankfully, the opponent seems to be spinning their wheels. They probably have something, but come on, game. Okay, it looks like I'm swinging with the team and holding up Denial. Got quite a bit of damage coming in. So if they're doing this, it's kind of telling me maybe they don't have any way of dealing with the board. Maybe I don't need to leave the Denial up. If I let them go, this will get an extra counter on it, and I'll be swinging for 7. I think I'm okay countering. Okay. It was the right decision, apparently. All right, so what does a Yorion deck do exactly? It's been a while since I've had to deal with old Skyface. Yorion, huh? Harbinger seems good because I imagine a lot of their spot removal is going to be black oriented. I don't know if they're going to be playing board wipes though in a Urian deck. So I'm not sure if I want Heroic Intervention or not. The Primal Might is probably not quite good enough. I think if I need a fight card, I can just rely on the Decisive Denial. It's going to be good enough. Shifting Ceratop's awfully good against Urian if that's their main win condition. But I imagine they can remove it pretty easily with black. So I think I kind of just have to grind out. Kind of want the Heroic Interventions in the deck. Just I have a feeling that that's going to come up. Okay, so what am I cutting? Always hard to make a decision here. Get one Yorvo out, and I think 2 Pelt Collectors can go. Although I kind of like the Pelt Collector because every time they murk one of my big creatures, it's going to grow. So let's do like a 3-3 split there. Go with a little bit more power. Try to be more resilient with the Heroic Intervention. I don't know. Just hopefully run them over. That's the plan, right? And playing Simic Stompy after all. Just try to go over the top. Well, we go from 2 lands to 1 land, so we'll throw that away. And this is a little bit more manageable, however, it looks ugly. I think it's Ronus that's got to go, unfortunately. Ronus is probably one of the cards I could have cut from the sideboard, because I think having Ronus active in a matchup where the opponent's playing heavy removal is going to be a very tricky thing. With the land draw there, pretty good curve 2-3-4, and getting this Collected Company to land is going to be pretty banging. Have you messed around with the Ranger class? I guess by the time this video comes out, this set will have been out for almost 2 weeks. It just came out a few days for me. I am recording this on the Monday following the set release, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to play around with it, but so far, early impressions of the Ranger class is very good. I think this is a very, very real card and is gonna do stuff in probably standard, depending on how the standard meta shapes up. You know, you never really know if mono green can stand up or even just kind of green aggro in general. But this card, to me, it's just, it does a lot of work. It's annoying. So the opponent is ramping hard. I got to imagine an ultimatum is coming in my near future. And without blue and a Decisive Denial, I think things look kind of dire. So they're up to 6. That means next turn is the turn. All right. If they got it, they got it, right? Ramp, ramp, and ramp. Wow. Well, I'm going to feel a lot better holding up the Collected Company after attacking for 7, that's for sure. Especially when they're at 14. Kind of thinking they got spot removal for that Steel Leaf Champion. Yepper. Okay, is what it is. Okay. They are down to 2 cards, though. However, they do have a World Tree on board. So if they get a little bit more mana, then who knows what could happen in that case. I like the sign of that. Cycle away your Triome. Omen of the Sea. Spinning their wheels. Do it. So what do I want to hit? 2 Steel Leaf Champions? That looks like lethal to me. Steel Leaf Champion and a Ronus would be pretty okay too. Put the Orion in your deck. Oh, yes. It's not good enough. There's the Steel Leaf Champion. So what do I got? I got 9, 11 damage if I use the Oasis. It's just not there. And I can't pump with the Ranger class and that. Oh, that's unfortunate. It's so close. I am going to draw 2 cards here, though. So let's see what I draw before I make any big decisions. There's... okay. Saying there's the blue source. If I get a decisive denial here, oh. I hate to commit too much to the board, but maybe that's what I'm kind of, what I gotta do. Okay, let's just go out with the Harbinger. And you know what? I'm gonna pump it. I'm not even gonna bluff the denial. If they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. Yeah, that collected company could have been slightly better. This is all right, though. If they're just bouncing those two, 3 mana up to 4 potentially, I think they could be in trouble here. Ooh. Yeah. Back-to-back 2-0s against kind of control-ish decks. Oh, feels good. Let's go to another one. All right, match 3. So far, things are going well. The Simic deck is definitely good. I don't think there's any question about it. And I think definitely these new cards are just making it that much better. This looks good to me. Let's see what the opponent's on. Mono black. Okay. Well, Llanowar Elf, awfully vulnerable. However, it's worth putting it out. Yipper. I'd rather they use the Heartless Act there than later on. And at least I have a good turn 2. I'm going to take the 2 damage no matter what. Lots of choices for your Inquisition, but none of them great. Takes the Ronus. You know what? I kind of prefer them taking the Ronus. I like having 2 Old Growth Trolls. These come back, right? I want to slow down that damage leak a little bit. Oh, wait. Big old troll face. Hopefully they don't have another Heartless Act for it. 3rd land. Good for them. Murderous Rider this time. Well, at least we're ramping a little bit. Get to put it on a forest and could be potentially a big threat later on. So currently have access to 5 mana. I think I go out with both Pack Leader and Old Growth Troll. Set up a wall. I think I just got to get to a point where I'm holding them off and then start cracking back. Spawn of Mayhem is scary. Collected Company is good though. So I could Ranger class, level 2, attacking with the Old Growth Troll. And with the Werewolf Pack Leader, I can put the +1/+1 here, make them like force them to kind of trade, and then hold up the second Ranger class. The problem is I'm at an awkward thing. If I draw though, I could draw land and maybe find the mana that I need for the Collected Company. I think it's probably prudent to just Collected Company, right? I'm going to attack with the Old Growth Troll, because if they want to trade their Spawn of Mayhem for an Old Growth Troll, I'm super cool with that. Otherwise, it's not doing much this turn, so may as well get in. I would have been alright with the Dread Wanderer going under old Troll Face here, but not to be. They're going to have to be careful, though. This Spawn of Mayhem's extra damage on them could end up being a little bit of a problem. Alright, they're forcing the Collected Company. Alright, we'll go Ronus. I like the pump. I like having access to giving trample to something, and right now this is a scary board that they got to deal with. I don't think they can deal with it, especially not if they're attacking with the Spawn of Mayhem. What are you doing? Alright. Yeah, sure. I'm good with this. Smart to block on the Ronus. Ronus can't give himself trample. So that's definitely where you want to be putting your blockers. There you go. Oh, yeah, the life game comes after. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Fun. Very fun. Well, guess what? Garrick's Harbinger, you enter the battlefield. And what else is coming in? I don't like Gargaroth against them because it just dies too easily. Heartless Act and such. I don't hate having the additional fight spell because they do have a lot of targets. The problem is a lot of their stuff is recursive, so I don't necessarily want to use a fight spell on the Dread Wanderer or the Gutterbones. So I'm not sure. I might change my mind on that one. What don't I like from my deck? Llanowar Elves, always vulnerable. So are the Pelt Collectors. But if they're using removal spells on my Llanowar Elves, it's fine, because their removal spells are not going to be as efficient as something like a Mogus's Favor from the Orzhov Control or Aura's deck. Okay, I think I'm going to take out one Ronus, because I imagine it's going to be hard to keep it on the field, and if I do get it on the field, they're probably not going to remove it, so I don't want to draw doubles of it. Maybe I just go down 1 and 1 like that, and try something like that. Yeah, I think it's fine. Okay. Okay, opening hand, pretty cool. Bad. I gotta keep it. I think this could go real bad if they have a turn 1 Thoughtseize, or turn 2 or turn 3 Thoughtseize. There's lots of opportunities for them to Thoughtseize here, and for everything to just kind of go real bad. Okay, thankfully those draws have been excellent. Once I get the Garrick's Harbinger on the field, they're not going to be able to remove it outside of combat. So that is pretty good. What are they on? Alright. Harbinger it is. Look at this old growth troll Yahtzee. Only have 1 forest though, so that is pretty bad. And it looks like they're holding up the Faceless Haven as a blocker. So, no thanks. Put out the old growth troll. If they have removal for it, it goes on the forest. You know what? I'm gonna put out the Llanowar Elf too. Take some damage. It's fine. It's probably fine, right? Not attacking. No way I'm attacking into the Faceless Haven. This thing I think is going to be too valuable in the long run. Okay. Well, only one choice. It goes onto our only forest, but it still can come back out. And speaking of cards that kind of just beat us. Boo, 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 boo. Okay. I don't know what to do anymore against the Phyrexian Obliterator. That is the ideal sideboard card for the opponent to have. Okay. That's not going to help. All right. Well, actually, this is the first time I've ever had 2 old growth trolls on 1 land before. Unfortunately, it doesn't produce 3 mana. Yeah. Coco is good, but I don't there's no way I'm getting out of this one, right? Why are they got to attack with that Phyrexian Obliterator? Just go in. Come at me. Take 5. I might get to a point where I can just fight the Phyrexian Obliterator. Sure, I'm going to lose a bunch of permanents, but you know, not a big deal. These are technically permanents. That's interesting. So I could sack, let's say I do 5 damage to this. Then I have to sack 5 permanents. This is 3 permanents right here. 4. Huh. Am I doing that? Am I think I'm not going to win unless I get rid of the Phyrexian Obliterator. So I think that's what I have to do. What if I overkill it, though? If I overkill it, I lose more, right? So I have to deal exactly 5 damage to it. So 6. If I do 6, then I lose. I keep my old growth troll. This is crazy. Am I crazy to even think about doing this? Doing this for X. Just do it for X2. No, X1. 2 mana. I tapped too much mana. It's fine. Okay. This might be crazy, but I don't know how else I'm getting around a Phyrexian Obliterator. If they have another one, I'm in real trouble. Yeah, they say oops, but I'm fine with this. So, resolve. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Why can't I select it? This one. This one. This one. And this one. Isn't that's 5 permanents? Okay. That was weird. It didn't let me select the other one, but I don't know. Okay. No attack. Because they still have the Faceless Haven. I think I had to go through it. I feel like I should have been able to select both old growth trolls there. That was weird. Maybe it's just the programming. Maybe I should have tried a little bit more persistently. But, yeah. Okay, now I got to get as much value out of these cards as I possibly can. I think it's fine for me to attack with the Steel Leaf Champion if they want to give me the Faceless Haven. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. So we get the Faceless Haven out of the picture here. Grow the Pel Collector. Kind of wish I didn't lose. I should have kept 3 mana, I think. That might have been a big mistake, but... Okay. Well, there's my mana. Kazandu Mammoth is definitely going in. Kazandu Mammoth is definitely going to the graveyard. Okay. Weird spot. I can't really... Oh, really? For reals? They're drawing 3 removal spells in a row after I had to deal with a Phyrexian Obliterator? And I draw Llanowar Elf? That's not fair. That is the definition of unfair. Alright. They're going to draw dead now, right? Surely. Gutterbones is alright. They're crashing in. I guess so. Take me down to 1. This is... I have 3 mana still with the Llanowar Elf, but I think we're kaputs. Yeah. Alright. Well... You know what? I want to attack with the Harbinger just to see what I would draw. Or what I would get. Another Harbinger's pretty good. Okay. So they got me on board. You know what? Considering I went through a Phyrexian Obliterator, I don't think that's the worst situation. Now, the deck is just... We're not suited to deal with a Phyrexian Obliterator. If they get a Phyrexian Obliterator next turn or next game, it's kind of game over. I just can't do anything against it except kind of try to go in on it and sack things. Maybe I shouldn't have... Maybe I should have just pumped and swung and not gone after that. I don't know. I got maybe too much in my head saying I got to kill the Obliterator. Because I was at 9 health, so still not dead to another swing from that. Let's go out with the pack leader. Kind of feeling like they don't have interaction at the moment, not 1 mana at least. They could have a Heartless Act here, so at least the Pelt Collector's protected. Although maybe I should have gone, it worked out. I was thinking Ranger class, because it pumps it, and then next turn go out with the Werewolf, because then it would pump it again. But okay, down to 15. Miss a land drop there, though, so not cool. That's okay. Obviously, removal.deck is going to line up really well against us. Like, it's kind of made to beat our deck. So we're going to try to fight through it, but I don't know. So I could put out the Pelt Collector, pump up this. I could also just hold up the Decisive Denial, but I mean, really, what am I holding it up for? I can't stop an Obliterator next turn. Maybe they have a Murderous or a Heartless Act. Okay. Is it worth it just to stop this down? You know what? I think it's okay. I'm going to value leveling up the Ranger. They're already getting pretty low. I think they got a chump block here. Yeah. And just gotta fade an Obliterator next turn. That's all I gotta fade. Oh, the anticipation is killing me. Don't do this to me midway. Come on. If you got it, play it out. Hopefully they're sitting on 4 Heartless Acts. That would be the ideal situation. Noxious Grasp. Okay. You got it. The worst land to have drawn from our deck. Still gonna go out with the Old Growth Troll. Okay, they didn't have the Obliterator last turn, and they're facing down 2 4/4s that are going to grow with the Ranger class. We have removal in the form of Decisive Denial for our next turn. Woo! 3-0, baby! Let's go! Beating real decks. And we get Plat or Diamond. Sweet. One more. Alright. 4th and final match with Simic Stompy for this little video. It's running. We're getting there. For Simic Stompy, usually the games go a little bit faster, but things have been dragging on a little bit. Oh, these hands are killing me. I'm going to risk it. I believe in my deck. It's been treating me pretty well so far. The 3rd land is coming right off the top. And we're not going to have a problem. Against Selesnya Coco, possibly. Yeah, it's, well, you know, this kind of looks like a land, but it's coming. I know it's coming. We're going to do runner, runner, land, land. We're going to go out Steel Leaf into Collected Company. Things are going to be fantastic. We're going to destroy Nubermensch. And we're going to be fine. See, the opponent's struggling on lands too. Although the Lumimancer's pretty good. Or Luminarch, rather. See, there's a land. Well, what did I tell you? Now I'm wondering if I want to go out with Ronus. Because Ronus is pretty good against what they're going to be putting out. It doesn't block anything, though. I don't know. Okay. Steel Leaf. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. It's fine. If next turn I go Collected Company, I can't guarantee that the Ronus will be live. So I think it's better to go out with Steel Leaf. Ooh, they get the early Collected Company. Earlier. And they hit pretty well. Probably gonna snag one of our Cocos. Oh, they're scared of the Ronus. They don't think I'm going to hit the 4th land, but it's definitely coming in, I don't know, a minute. Depends on how long they're going to take to decide where to put this +1/+1. There you go. That looks like a land again. Your best land impression. Okay. So what do I do here? I could pump with the Ranger class, and I could actually send the Steel Leaf in. I don't hate that. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put out the land of Werewolf. So they can't block with the Aspirin. If they want to double block Mammoth and Spellbinder, I'll happily take a 2-for-1. Which is actually kind of a 1-for-1 because they got those 2 creatures off of the Collected Company. This Steel Leaf Champion is going to be very annoying for them to deal with. Oh, I mean, this Steel Leaf Champion is going to be extraordinarily easy for the opponent to deal with. This Collected Company deck always gives it to me every single time. It's a good deck, right? It's kind of just playing. I mean, it's similar to our deck. It's just playing above curve cards, and that's what I think this Simic Stompy deck is basically. Probably gonna concede pretty soon. I don't really want to take 6 damage. Okay. Well, we'll wait and do Coco on their turn. See what it turns up. If it's a whiff, get an instant concede from me. Sure. Opponent is definitely taking their time with some of these decisions. Just put it on this. Come on. Put it here. Swing in. In fact, put it here, swing with the team. Even swing with the Land of Werewolf. I'm not going to block. You know I'm not blocking. Well, they do know I have a Collected Company, but I think it's probably fine. This deck doesn't have flyers. Come on, just put it here. There you go. Okay, good. Sometimes you gotta help them a little bit. Not terrible. Still basically dead in the air to the old Spellbinders, and then this is going to sustain them quite a bit. Plenty of food in the graveyard. Wow, unbelievable not to hit lands at all. So I put out Old Growth Troll and call it a day. Wait, little unfortunate. I wonder what did I hit in the Collected Company? 1 land only. That's pretty wild. 4 lands, the top 14. Maybe it's right. Yep. There you go. Okay. So we get to go to a game number 2. And I think Primal Mites are 100% coming in. Where? There they are. They moved on me. So Primal Mites come in. I like the Gargaroth in this matchup. It's really hard for them to get through. They don't have great removal for it. I'm not super hot on Shifting Ceratops because of the Skyclave Apparition hitting 4 or less. So I think just rely on the Gargaroth to get me there. What am I taking out? I think Pelt Collectors are a little bit bad. They can grow, but I think for the most part they're gonna have trouble getting through. I think. And I like the Denial as a fight card, so I gotta probably leave that in. I don't know, maybe I'm not too big on the Ranger class on this matchup. For someone's telling me I don't need a whole 4 of them. Okay. So, gonna try to draw a little bit better, hit our lands reliably, not keep a risky hand, and see how it works out. I believe we can do it. All right. Game 2. On the play and everything. Sure. I like the way this looks. So, lead out on the Sanctum, forced into maybe Pack Leader? They're definitely going to have an early Coco again, so that might ruin some plans. But do all I can do. Okay, they got a Ronus of their own, and we are drawing nothing but what's with this variance suddenly? The deck was working really well, and now it flipped the switch for game or match 4. It's like, well, we're gonna make sure you don't have consistent mana, my friend. Don't like the opponent having access to a collected company before me, but oh, all right. Well, I gotta pass. That is very, very unfortunate. And they hit delightfully. Yeah. Well, the good news is they not getting anything with a Spellbinder. Bad news is they know they're not getting anything with the Spellbinder. Good news is I have Ranger Class, which I can dump all this wonderful mana into very soon and maybe start playing from the top of my deck. It's too much. This draw is real good. All right. Oh, I'm going to see a few more cards and then I'll probably call it because the video is already getting a little lengthy. No block. Not a land, please. It's okay. I could attack in with the Steel Leaf Champion, putting a +1/+1 counter on it. They're going to block with the Lovestruck Beast. Their Ronus will be turned off, but then they can turn it on by pumping up a Elite Spellbinder. Like we're just dead. That's what's happening here. Okay. I can't attack. Well, it was a good run. We met our match. Actually, this is the first time I played against this deck as well. And I think the combination of Skyclave Apparition, like they have interaction. We have slightly bigger creatures, not even that much bigger, because they're playing Ronuses and Lovestruck Beasts too. That's insane. But the combination of having a little bit of interaction with the Skyclave Apparition, the Elite Spellbinders, and then Flyers, I think makes this pretty much an impossible matchup for us. Like I block here, they're going to pump there, and we're going to take, what is it, 5/11 damage. They should have pumped. There's no reason not to pump there. Okie doke. So, an okay way to end. You know, the start was good. So we give the opponent the old hearts, we concede, and move on to a wrap-up. Good time to lose, too, right? All right, not a whole lot to say in the wrap-up. The deck works well. We already know Simic Stompy is pretty powerful. It's performed in the last couple of seasons in Historic. I think it's going to continue performing fairly well. You're definitely going to lose some games, and you have some bad matchups. I really think that collected Selesnya Coco Collected Company deck is a horrible matchup for this deck for the reasons I stated just a few minutes ago. Still, we were able to grind out 2 matches against control heavy decks, even against the mono black deck, which is another matchup that I think is pretty atrocious. Still, the deck was able to get out very fast and put enough pressure on the opponent where they weren't able to do anything. If we do run into something like a Phyrexian Obliterator, though, we're going to fold like a cheap lawn chair. Pack Leader and Ranger Class definitely both proving themselves to be good cards. Ranger Class more so than the Pack Leader. The Pack Leader, actually, I found it a little bit hard to draw cards with, honestly. But that being said, we were up against decks where they had a lot of creature removal, and I think it was just we were fighting like an attrition war. We just had to keep putting out soldiers and making sure they stay on the battlefield just so they can get in 1 or 2 hits. That doesn't really lend well to the pack tactics triggering. Ranger class, on the other hand, making a 2/2 wolf, putting +1/+1 counters on things, pretty good. Didn't actually get up to level 3. Not once, I don't think, actually, in those games. Or if I did get up, it was only for a split second. Still, I think it's going to come up in a few games, and yeah, it's definitely very, very powerful. Sideboard also seems okay to me. There might be some changes you can make. I don't know, maybe some anti-flyer hate. Maybe there must be something that's like deal damage to a flyer or destroy an enchantment, right? I think that card exists. That might be something I'm going to have to look into. If you have a recommendation for that, please let me know. This deck is super soft to flyers, so having some way to deal with them could be vital. Anyways, that is it for today's video. We're done. Thanks for sticking around. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.